Guys that told me to come up to this Y, man, them dudes was moving the ball like it was like,
Was it young boys?
nah, it was some older dudes. So like, man, just moving the ball, like it was crazy. I told them like, man, like I needed that run,
Yes.
like to use your brain and not just, you know, be out there running.
Absolutely. Talk about that. How often are we not using our brain?
Man, I think that, everybody just go to attack mode.
Right.
It's like sometimes you gotta just sit back and be like, let the game come to you, kinda.
Facts. Would you use that as far as everyday advice as well?
Ah, definitely, definitely. Planning out your day, trying to figure out how to make the most of your day.
Yeah.
That's really big, man. Cause, I know some guys that, they like a pinball all day long, and I'm like, how do you like keep that momentum?
Yes.
Where I'm like, man, I know what I got to get done. I try to take everything, give it a little bit extra time, so I don't rush, just all that, man.
And planning skills as well. I don't think as business owners we talk about how important it is to plan out our day
Yeah.
and how important it is to keep it consistent. Talk about that.
That, hey, man, you hit it on the head when you said that. Like, kind of know what to go into your day expecting. And, obviously, you can't control everything that you do in your day, but the things that you can control, you know, use your time wisely, get ahead, have moments where, you can kind of go off of your track. For me, that's one of the big things right there is like my creativity doesn't just, I can't just be like, hey, from 9:30 to 10:30, I'm going to be creative. Mm-hmm. Like my creativity goes all day long. So, but when I'm able to sit down and jot down the idea or whatever, it's kind of just stays with me all day long.
Absolutely.
It's weird like that. I, I've been like kind of just keeping these running thoughts, right, all day long, and I've been writing down a lot more things. Like physically seeing it written down helps me. So that's kind of something new that I'm implementing.
Ooh,
yeah.
We're going to absolutely talk about that. But first of all, we got a very, 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 if my mic ain't picking up, we got a very, very, very special guest. But go ahead and introduce yourself today.
Yeah, for those that don't know me, I am Matt Tomamichel. I'm the owner of Corporate. I'm also the co-founder of Bigger Than Sneakers. I am a 20-year vet in retail. And, the thing about me, I just want to show everybody where I'm from and how it's, allowed me to get even further because where I'm from.
Talk about that. I love to hear that. I love to hear it. Been a supporter since way back when. I've known you for a very long time. I remember we was playing basketball at one of the rec centers and always admired your ambition. The consistency that I've seen throughout the past years has been unmatched. And we want to give you your flowers today, every day, as much as possible. But let's take it back a little bit. Do you remember the first time you sold a pair of apparel or a pair of shoes?
Prior to working in retail?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I got to that age where, your mom ain't buying you everything no more.
Right.
So you got to pick and choose. And I ran across this guy named Noli, and we traded out. I was trying to get this week's Jordan, and he was like, man, I'll buy those off you. And I was like, bet. So I sold him the 5s to get the 11s.
Yeah.
In March. And I remember that, man, because then he picked me up to take me to the mall that morning.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, yo, this is crazy how the sneaker game worked or whatever. So that was prior to even me working at a shoe store.
What was your first shoe store you worked at, and what was the first pair of shoes you absolutely had to get that you bought on your own?
Man, so first, wait. So first, what now?
First shoe store you ever worked at?
First shoe store I ever worked at was Foot Locker in Northgate Mall.
Shout out to Foot Locker in Northgate.
Yeah, that was it was fun, man. Good guys. They took a little risk on me, and you know it was fun.
Yeah.
And then first, what now? First shoe that I had to have.
That you absolutely had to have that you bought on your own.
Okay, so the first shoe that I had to have with my own money was really stupid because it was just the first pair that I saw with my own check. And it was the white and navy 15s, Jordan 15s. Man, I got my first check from being a janitor. And I remember I'm like, I'm going to the mall. I'm getting whatever I see. And literally, I was like, what's the newest Jordan that came out? They're like, these. And I was like, well, I already committed, so I might as well get them.
Yes.
But then, man, the first shoe that I had to have, the Black Cement 4.
Yes.
It's my favorite shoe of all time.
Favorite.
But it was my shoe because I didn't get them when they first came out. My boy got them. He came into school with them. And, man, at that time, like, they didn't really have, like, accurate search, inventory. Like, you couldn't search the inventory and get what you wanted for real. So they sent me the Jordan Vindicate as a substitute for my purchase.
Wow.
And my mom was like all about like those little lessons and those whatever. So I pulled them out the box. I was like, these are not what we ordered. She was like, well, you got them now. You just got to plan better in the future. And I was like, hell of a time to get that lesson. And I had to wear those shoes to school. And I just remember being like, this ain't it, man. This, because I mean, not to knock Team Jordans, but at that time, you were not buying the Vindicate. You were not buying those shoes in place of, the retro.
Absolutely. Now, in a sense, did you grow up in Cincinnati?
Yeah, grew up over out in the Wentwoods area.
What high school did you graduate from?
I went to Wentwoods.
Yeah, talk about it. Shout out to Wentwoods.
2004, man. It's
Absolutely.
crazy.
My cousin went to Wentwoods too. Now, speaking of you growing up in Cincinnati and being from Cincinnati, did you see any entrepreneurs growing up? Did you grow up around any entrepreneurs?
Yeah, from time to time. There were guys that I saw. Obviously, Devereaux's, you knew that they were locally owned. And that was a major thing. Then you had guys like Corey at Hard to Knock, Congo at Exclusive. For me, those were the guys that showed me that it was possible. You know what I mean? Like they were the urban doors that, always had what people wanted. Academics, Mesquite, Gino Green Global were like their plays. And some of that stuff fit me, some of it didn't. So yeah, and obviously New Era hats, that was, yeah, Congo, and Exclusive, they kept a whole hat wall that had everything that, I wanted in a different color.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
How does hats and sneakers coincide? What is that world and what is that collision like?
It's funny because they seem like they play off of each other, right?
Yes.
Your hat, complements your footwear, or vice versa. Or sometimes you just go in a whole totally different direction. My collection of hats was just, very basic. It was standard red hat. That was just my like sign off always, man.
Absolutely.
The Reds hat is just my thing. So
yes. Now that we get into the business part, you went from working at a sneaker shop and then obviously owning your own. What was that transition like? And then what was that last corporate job that you worked at before you said, fuck it?
Okay. So, what year was that? That was '06, I want to say. Yeah, '06. I walked away from going to college. I was at Raymond Walters, and
You see?
yeah, I took an internship up in Minneapolis, unpaid, but I transferred up there to the Foot Action in the Mall of America. So I worked at this shop called Status during the day, and at night I would go to the Mall of America, do my thing, make sure I had money. Then after about 6 months, I relocated to Columbus, Ohio, where we opened up Status in 2006, and within a year we went out of business. Recession had hit us really hard, and man, that was when I was working. I was still working for Foot Locker at the time, so I worked at the Easton? Yeah, Easton. At night, and during the day I was at Status. And then when we closed down, that's when I was like, yo, I come home, I try to game plan, I still work at Foot Action for the time being. And the day before we opened the shop is when I quit Foot Action. So yeah, my boy Jeff was like, yo man, I need you to come in tomorrow. We kind of light. I was like, hey man, like, I apologize, but I'm actually quitting today. Today's my last day. And he was like, well, what are you about to do? I was like, well, tomorrow I'm going to open my store. And he was just like, yeah. And I mean, Jeff was my boy. He was just like,
did he understand?
Yeah. I mean, it was so funny because I think I kept it so under wraps that like people were just like, what?
Yes.
And then, yeah, I was just like, yo, I'm going to open my store today. And I remember opening, and he was like one of the first people to walk through the door. So it's just been like super
Full
cool
circle.
to have like my folks really like support me from day one.
Absolutely.
Even when we was wasn't very good.
Talk about that community support and what it's done in the past 20 years.
Man,
the impact.
Well, let's see. I say just from I think everybody saw it in me. There's a lot of people that really understood that I like shoes a little bit, way too much. And but they were never like, there were some people that were rude about it. But, for the most part, I say, people always try to encourage me. They were like, man, you the shoe guy. But then they started to understand that, even when I opened corporate, it was bigger than that.
Bigger, way bigger.
Definitely thankful for the support. I think 22-year-old Matt didn't understand how it really was. But here at 36, I'm like, you know what? This makes sense.
Absolutely.
I understand more why it worked and why people were the way that they were. And, you just got to kind of, take it for what it's worth.
Absolutely.
It's fine, man. Everybody ain't going to believe. Everybody ain't going to, have your best interest, and that's fine. I think that I'm pretty good at reading people and understanding, what I'm supposed to take from a situation.
Absolutely. Talk about that as well. Having community leaders and partnerships, and even talk about the big brands that you've been able to work with, from Mitchell and Ness to Jordan. How do you tell upcoming entrepreneurs, hey, that's possible? How do you go connect with those big brands?
Well, I think that you have to have a vision again. You have to be a person that, can work the room. You have to be able to, kind of tell people what your goals are, and then how can they help you. And then you also got to find the people that believe in it, believe in that vision too. So just, be patient. I think a lot of people don't understand, working with them, working with Mitchell and Ness started in 2015. So still, I was, 7 years in to corporate without them. But after 7 years, they started to see, what it could be. And here we are, last year we did a collaboration with them celebrating our 13th anniversary. So, I mean, that's a 6-year relationship. Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah, man, nothing overnight. That's the other thing that I try to tell people now. Even, even this year, right, with the Jordan brand, when they called our number, man, Rebellionaire, that's 14 years, man. That's 14 years of work.
Relationship.
And not, complaining and bitching about it not being your time. It's like, hey, I'ma stay ready. I'ma be ready when my number's called, and, we're gonna execute.
Absolutely. And as well as the support that you have from the community, you have a countrywide support as well.
Yeah.
How do you consistently keep up with that and also gaining new clients as well?
I think a lot of the time when people give corporate a chance, they're blown away by, us being personable, us being kind of thrown in a light that they didn't expect. From who wears our clothing to who supports the shop, who tags the shop, organically. One thing that I don't do is, when you come in the shop, oh, let me get that picture with you. Unless, they throw it out there. Really it's a thing of respect, man, and how we go about our thing is way different than, most people. They do it for the gram. Here it's like, hey, man, we gonna do it, but we're gonna do it with integrity. We're gonna do it, a little bit more respectfully and tastefully done. It's not just a thing of, today. Like, always looking at it bigger, especially with your relationships.
Absolutely. And talk about those relationships and how we got the indie store started. That's amazing. 2 locations.
Thank you, man. Indianapolis was supposed to happen actually prior to COVID. It's funny, the day that the NBA shut down, right? That was on a Wednesday, I want to say.
Do you remember that? They was on the court and it was like, canceled.
So Monday of that week, I went to the game, Celtics that played the Pacers over in Indianapolis. But people didn't realize I was over there also scouting a location.
Woo-hoo-hoo.
So here we are. We're about to sign this lease, and it gets stalled just because of, pandemic and a lot of people not understanding what was really about to happen. So that happens. Through the pandemic, we kept in touch with the landlord, and they were like, hey, man, we don't want you to sign this deal right now because we don't know. And I was like, man, that's very respectful. Like, thank you for looking out. But they were like, hey, we're going to give you this contact to this other building. When things, kind of work out, maybe a route to go. And ultimately, it was the right decision.
Wow.
And then in March of last year, we opened that door finally. And it's been a year. Yeah, it's been a year over there. And the team over there is doing really well. They're constantly trying to, be involved in the community, constantly trying to, uplift the people the right way. And, again, it's just kind of a mirror thing of what we have over here in Cincinnati as well. Corey, Boogie, they're doing a great job. So
absolutely. And talk about that too, as far as having a team and how important it is to have a team around you that understands your goals, understands your vision.
Yeah. Everybody has to buy in, right? Like, that's what makes a team really good. For us, I'm thankful that, the guys see how hard I work and they want to mirror that. They don't want to be the weak link. Everybody brings their best every single day. I mean, you see it when they walk in, like, man, we greet each other just like family. That's how we are. So I like to think that that's kind of the, the winning formula to us. It's like, man, everybody is family. And if we not, we're going to talk about it. And we're going to get on the right page, and we're going to be, the best we can be for each other as well. It ain't just hey, I'm going to throw my work on you. Nah, like, everybody got to carry their own.
Absolutely. Talk about what's next. What do you see for yourself specifically, and corporate separately? What do you see in the next 5 to 10 years?
5 to 10 years, hopefully I'll be at the place where I'm ready to walk away from everyday business. with corporate, and I have found a, predecessor, somebody that I believe can, take us further. I also, you know, I want to open a couple more doors. I want to have things a little bit more structured around here internally, and I want to be able to focus my efforts on bigger than sneakers.
Whew, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. And let me slide right back to that real quick. When did that start and how did that come about? Because we don't talk about that enough,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
So Bigger Than Sneakers was, again, about 2015. My good friend Tammy Scott, she understood what I was going through, where I was like, now we're starting to have a little bit of success. We got to continue to bring the community forward with us, right? And she helped me co-found Bigger Than Sneakers with our sneaker ball. What was that, 4 years ago? Well, yeah, 4 years ago. And from there, man, it's just been, initiative after initiative, activations for kids, workshops for kids, and just, continuous effort from us and our board. We actually just hired a director of Bigger Than Sneakers last year. So, having her in place, having Natalie in place is amazing, man.
Shout out to Natalie.
Yeah, Natalie is literally the glue for Bigger Than Sneakers. Like, man, she makes everything happen. I could have an idea at 12 o'clock at night. I send her a text. The next morning I follow up and she's like, I already gave this some thought. What do you think about this? And we just work. So it's like, that's where I want to put my efforts, man.
You show the importance of teamwork, and with this interview, again, with all our interviews, we like to showcase businesses in the city. We like to give their flowers. We understand how hard it takes to keep a consistent business going, right? Mm-hmm. You mentioned about dealing with the first recession and obviously with COVID. What was the two lessons learned and how do you move forward from there?
Man, the first one, I think I was just too dumb to understand like how bad it really was. But now I look at the numbers, I'm just like, man, how did this even, sustain or even work? During the pandemic, I think, again, had we not been in the place that we were with planning, we wouldn't have survived as well. Fortunately, we had turned on our new website, the end of February, and then March was when everything shut down. And in Cincinnati, we were the first one probably to shut down due to COVID, because at the time, my wife being pregnant, we did not know what this could be, right? So I had to take even extra precaution. The guys, I had to make sure that they were safe and that they were good. There was a term called furlough, and I just remember having to look it up, like, what the hell is that? And, once I looked it up, I was like, nah, this ain't for us. Like, we not furloughing anybody. We're about to make sure that we all come through this together. So Steve, Matt, Sneaker Dave, Josh, they were basically the four that I worked with every single day during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So, we had times where we had to move everything out of the space due to everything going on with people rioting, with people trying to break into the shop. So we moved our operation into basically a unit the size of a garage, and we worked every single day. And then we had a mailman that would come by, and he would pick up all of our boxes every single day, man. So
talk about community, boy, right
yeah,
there.
Yeah, man. And I mean, this is a guy, obviously he just had, he had a lot going on too, because everybody was under such strain, right?
Absolutely.
Trying to get your packages, trying to get this. But he took it upon himself every single day. He would finish his route. He would come back to our unit, grab all of our packages, and never complain about it. And then, like, at the end of that, man, we were fortunate enough he said, did we get through it? And it was like, yeah, like, we did, man. Like, that's the thing, I guess, too. I'm fortunate enough to really see people or meet people that buy into my vision, too, man. Like, the law of attraction, right?
Absolutely.
I think that's what they call it. And
we believe in you. That's why
yeah,
we're doing
man.
shit like
Somebody
this,
believes
man.
they wanna push you forward. They don't
Yes.
wanna, unless they just assholes, which that's fine too, I guess.
We deal with them.
Yeah. They deal with themselves,
Facts.
But
They absolutely do.
but nah, man. Just the pandemic really just taught me, not to take anything for granted and to, just be ready, because again, you got to come out of that, right? And that's when we opened up Indy, and then when we opened up Indy, that drove me to remodel this space, and we remodeled this space 2 months after opening Indy. So you talking about, man, new store, then a remodel that took, another 90 days, and we were just like, man, this is crazy. But now where we're at right now, I'm really proud of. I like what we have here, and hopefully we can keep building with what we got.
So, without using sneakers, without using corporate, describe you and your business in 5 words. It can be 5 random.
All right. Resilient, adapting, creative. Let's see, 5?
Yes, 5.
Dang, adapting, creative, resilient, progressive, and joy.
Love it. Those some good 5 words.
Thanks,
yes.
man. You made me pull the source out. What was I about to use?
Yes,
man.
absolutely. Now, if people want to get in contact with you or any of the businesses, go ahead and shout them out. Shout out the social, shout out the email, shout it out.
Got you. Corporate got them. Our handle on Instagram. Twitter we don't really use, so just hit up Instagram. For me personally, M.Tomamichel on Instagram. And email wise, I'm terrible with them, so don't send me an email. Just hit me, follow me. Feel free to drop in the inbox. I'll try to get to it as fast as I can. If not, come by the shop, man. That's the easiest way. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, bro.
That's a wrap.
That's it?
Cut.
We need to turn on some lights or anything for you?